Hafsa, last thing, darling.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to our Ramadan program. Welcome to those watching on Facebook as well and here on Zoom with us. My name is Sabria. I'm Sister Reba's assistant. And if you guys need help with anything, just reach out to me and I'll try to help, inshallah. As some of you already know, this Ramadan, we've partnered with Parenting with Allah by My Side. And from that organization, we have Sister Sara here with us and Sister Iram. They're both very experienced teachers, and inshallah, they're going to answer all your questions that you might have. Today, they're going to talk about safe tech use. Sister Sara here has 18 years of experience, and she aims to help. She has founded Love Learning Online, and she aims to help parents find qualified teachers for their kids. And Sister Iram has founded parentinguncomplicated.com, and I will leave you the links to all their accounts later if you want to reach out to them. And if you have any questions, ask them in the chat, and they will be ready to answer them, inshallah. You can start, sisters.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you all? It's nice to see you, Sister Farha and Sister Anjum. I think we'll have a few more people joining in soon. I think they just kind of came in and left. But yeah, Jazakallah khair for joining us. So today's live is about screen time. And just as we came on, I was saying, Iram, please talk about it, because I don't want to talk about screen time because I let my kids go on the screens. Right, Iram?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, everybody does. I mean, it's unavoidable. I was thinking before coming to the live, I was thinking like what we need to start saying is this is the new way of life, especially after pandemic. That screen is a constant and a consistent life. I don't know. I don't want to say partner because we have to switch off from our screens, but it is something that we have to accept as a part of our everyday life. There is no more, before pandemic, there was a part of us that used to say, we can say no to screens. Yes, we have the power to say no. Yes, we choose not to say no. Now we don't. And it's not, and I think the problem is that to say that we're powerless when it comes to screens makes us feel even more guilty and makes us feel as if we're not trying hard enough. It is not about power. It is just a cultural, worldwide shift that happened, and we need to accept it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that kind of fits in with the advice that, don't parent your children as you were parented, because each generation has their own issues. So you have to change your parenting according to the world at the time. So we are, raising pandemic children. My daughter Hafsa, we were asking her the other day, she's mashallah nearly going to be 5. So we were asking her, do you remember when mum and dad used to go out without a mask? And she said, yes, in England. So we forgot that in England we didn't really hardly wear them. But around here, it's like it's normal. She reminds us that we need a mask. We don't remember because it's new to us, but to her, it's absolutely normal to go out, get the mask, put it on. It's like everyone started saying that phrase that I've started to hate now, but it's the new normal. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things, right, Iram?
Yes, absolutely, definitely. It is one of those new normal things. It is normality. We have to understand that this is normal. This is absolutely normal. I will jump right into it because this is something that wouldn't require a lot of hours of discussion, except to understand from the facts. Does screen time have a bad effect on our mental health? Overuse of screen time does. Who says what is overuse of screen time? What amount of screen time is over? overuse of it, and do children understand, and do we know how to create boundaries around that, and how do we calm ourselves down when our children are 4 to 5 hours on the internet? Now that even the schools are open, still the children are addicted to the internet or are addicted to gaming, and how do we understand when our children do not um, you know comply is the correct word, with the boundaries that are created, and the phone obsession, and what are the other options of phones, and what happens when parents do give them what happens when parents give them everything and then they want it back, or then they want to restrict it, and then there's a lashback. So those are the main important parts of this conversation, I believe. So Sara, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with. So we can start with providing alternatives to screen time. I think there's one before this, but it's okay because you kind of mentioned it. So we can start with providing alternatives. So at the moment, what happens is when your child goes on the screen, usually they're playing some kind of a game, right? I mean, at the ages of my kids who are 5 to 12, who are I would say the ones who are most addicted to the screens. With my older two, I wouldn't say that they are that much addicted to it, because they do have their studies that keep them, generally they don't have enough time to do that. Yeah. But with the younger ones, I would say about providing alternatives. So having, different activities that are set up, ready to go, so that you can always be like, come on, let's paint, come on, let's do this. The problem with my kids is that if I say, come on, let's do this, honestly, they'll be like, no, I don't want to. But if I just sit down myself and I start, drawing or arts and crafts or coloring myself, so I'll just sit there and I'll start doing it myself, they'll just naturally come and join me, because it will look interesting, it will look fun, it will look like something they want to do. And the more we tell them, come and play, the more they're like, I don't want to play. But the more that you just kind of play yourself and just let them naturally join in, I feel like it's much easier for them to then get off that screen and come and join you in whatever activity you're doing. But the problem that I have is with the games, they give them this particular dose of dopamine every time they win something. They get awards, they get stickers. It's like, wow, you got this reward, well done, you're on the next level. These kind of things that the games do, the features of the games, make them addicted to the games, because they like that rush when they've completed a level. They like the rush when they've achieved an objective in the game. They like that happy feeling that they get. So we have to actually create that happy feeling for them. And so again, I guess we try to make everything game-like, or as game-like as possible. So it's kind of like who can get dressed faster, who can color, the most beautiful picture and things like that. Again, you're still kind of, not focusing on, but kind of facilitating that gaming happiness that they get, that dose of dopamine that they get by playing those games. What do you think, Sister Iram?
Fantastic. Yes, I agree with that. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. I want to say this, that as a parent coach, what I have seen is, especially with the teens, it doesn't start with the teenage years. It starts at the age of what Sara just identified as between 5 to 12. It starts then and there. And one of the most important factors why and how children get used to internet so much so that they do not care about the boundaries and they tend to break them, is because the environment of the house is such that they want to escape it. That's one of the number one reasons when children want to forget that their domestic environment is not secure, is something that can cause stress, then they typically rush into getting themselves involved with online community. That's usually the case. And once they get that dopamine rush, which Sara just identified, then they do not want to get back to not being in that happy state of mind, right? And what has happened with the internet usage, over usage of the internet, is that our like obesity, a person is never born obese unless until they have a genetic condition, right? They are emotional eaters, or they are fed too much, or why is it said that listen to the children when they say stop? Because what we're doing is we're overfeeding them. And that's what happened with the internet, that when they got overfed with it because they were trying to escape something else, now the condition is where their mind does not satisfy. The same case with the television. Before the internet, it was the television. Why did the psychologists, scientists, psychotherapists, everybody say the screen time should not be more than 2 hours a day? And in that, when they used to say that, they meant television plus the internet. Now, if you ask a child who is into gaming, if you tell them, and who have their own phones, if you tell them no screen time more than 2 hours, they will think it's a joke, honestly. And to me, even it sounds like a joke. Allahu Akbar. I mean, it's so bad. It sounds like a joke. But then again, like we set up in the very beginning, it's not a new normal. It's the world change time. When you were at the crux, we as a generation of millennials, and we as a generation of Gen X people, we are seeing our Gen Zers at the crux of the world changing. I remember we were the generation that saw the computers come into our homes, and our parents were like, oh my God, they're stuck to their computers, and there were online chats and there were online games, but not to that extent. And what was it, Sara? It was the DSLR. What DSLR, when there used to be a tone to the internet, when you used to connect the internet and the phone used to get engaged.
Yeah.
Um,
I remember we used to go on MSN Messenger all the time. Like that was
yes,
like, I'm gonna go home and meet you on Messenger, with
yes,
your
yes,
friends,
yes,
right?
exactly. So that was our time, and this is our kids' time. So some of the family ground rules for phones and devices, even though it sounds impossible, but these are some of the things that we can do. We can have no devices in bedroom and bathroom. That's an absolute. See, at the end of the day, you are the parent, and and the problem is that we want intervention after the problem has been set in. The thing is, the intervention happens before the problem can even set in. Sara and I, we are huge and we are big on open conversations. And we always say this. We say, before you give the phone, before you let them into the online world, you have to have set ground rules. You have to have open communication. You have to have set boundaries. You have to have reminders, not nagging. Not nagging. Nagging is, how long have you been on this computer? You should not be. No, that's not going to work. Before that, do you remember what we have? What we have the contract, like what contract do we have between us? And then the child will tell you, yeah, not more than 2 hours. Have you set up an alarm? My alarm is set up. Do we agree that before that I will give you one reminder? Yes, no, I agree. I don't agree, right? These are the normal cases. I'm not talking about extreme cases, because extreme cases are extreme cases. But let's start with the normal ones, where the child is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe, and they're not hooked onto the internet like that. Well, there are 10-year-old kids who are hooked onto the internet, who are hooked onto gaming. 6 hours of gaming, they're fine. There was once a child whose parent I was coaching, and the child, like, they could go on gaming for 24 hours. For 24 hours, no food, no drink, just the bathroom breaks. And they would say, we are in heaven. Do not even talk to us. Do not look at our face. We're completely fine. We're completely okay. What was the mental breakdown of that kid? That kid was agitated, aggravated, always mad at their parents, always mad at their siblings, fighting, losing grades. And we know all of that. We know, and that is what we are scared of, or that is what we are facing when it comes to the internet. But the thing is, I want to tell this to the parent. I want to tell this. I think there is no one way of intervention. There are many ways, and we have to keep seeing and keep communicating and not lose faith and not lose hope. And we have to see which intervention works for us. For someone, for example, taking out the wireless at 9 p.m. in the house works for some families. For some families, it will not work. It will not work. Then what do we do? Then we put password locks. Okay, so for some families that would work, but for some other kids that would never work. So what do we do? Then we allow them. How much do we allow them, or how much do we settle down with? These are some of the questions that you have to ask, and you have to see what parenting style you have, because it, at the end of the day, Sara will agree to this, it always comes back to the parenting style. And honestly, we both are very chill parents.
Just let you all know, we're really chilled parents. I like that one. You just added that in. Walaikum salam, sisters. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for talking to us in the chat. If there's any questions, please do ask us. Let us know what you think. Do you agree with us? Do you think that the children should be given more leeway and more screen time, or less screen time, or what do you think, or what are you struggling with? Let us know, inshallah. I just want to pick up on what you said, Iram, about the whether turning off the Wi-Fi works for some people, or turning off, or putting passwords on. There are different apps that you can use, different settings and different apps and widgets that you could use. So there's some for the Xbox, PlayStation, iPhone and iPad, and for Android. I'm just going to pop these in the chat for you guys, so that if anyone does want to use technology to control technology, you guys can do that, inshallah. For us as a family, we used to turn the Wi-Fi off every day when everyone's going to bed. Circle is another good app. Jazakallah khair. Thanks, Sister Juwaria. So I think there's also some things. No, screen time is the one that I've just given to you. Yeah, it's fine. So with our kids, we turned off the Wi-Fi at bedtime. So for us, the Wi-Fi went off and everyone was like, in their beds and ready to go to sleep and everything. So there didn't really seem to be a huge, I would say, like an issue with us and our kids, because the Wi-Fi box was downstairs anyway. So the Wi-Fi didn't reach upstairs. This house that we've moved into now is a problem, because the Wi-Fi box and everything is actually upstairs. So now if we turn it off, we need to unplug the actual device, which is a bit stressful for me, to be honest, because then in the morning I have to figure out how to put it back on again. Which I can do other things. You can set up a circuit, no problem, but these Wi-Fi boxes, they just got too many wires sometimes, right? So in terms of that, I think that it's given us this additional kind of worry. And in the same way that Sister Iram said, now we've kind of got to the stage of you guys have to manage it yourselves, right? Because one of my eldest daughter is studying. She needs the Wi-Fi, she needs the internet. A lot of her lessons are online, a lot of her resources are online, the exam papers that she does, what she prints off and everything. So she does need that constant access. So I can't be going around policing the other children. I've got to make sure that they are now in that stage of being responsible enough of knowing. But as I told you guys before, I've got a 5-year-old, 7-year-old and 12-year-old, which is kind of a bit difficult to keep on top of them and making sure that they stay away from it. So one of the things that you can do is put a timer on. So sometimes you can put the timer on the app itself on the phone, or maybe if they're on an iPad, you can put it on your phone so that you would know when the signal goes up, that the time is up for the screen time, inshallah. Sometimes, like we said earlier, you can give your children alternative activities to play. Now, again, I think I was talking about you start yourself with an activity. Again, we can't always do that. So what you do is you use the other kids to help you to either set up the activities or to set up games that they can all then play together. And if one of them starts playing, usually you'll find that the others follow suit. It's just a case of they might not be able to think about what to play. Sometimes with the devices, the choices are right there in front of them, right? Did anyone see the documentary about the social media apps? I've forgotten what it's called, Iram. Do you remember? The one on Netflix?
I'm forgetting the name too. It's something
Yeah, I
social
forgot the
media.
name as well. But one of the things that I learned from there was that they use notifications to wheel you back in, to reel you back in. Thank you, Sister Sabri. The Social Dilemma, that's the one on Netflix, yeah? So they use notifications to reel you back in. So if they are playing on apps, make sure that all the notifications are off, and things like that, because actually they will get those notifications. Today you need to spin the wheel. I don't know if any of your kids played that one. That was Animal Jam, and they had to log in every single day to spin a wheel to get a free item that they could then put in their dens. They used to make these dens in Animal Jam, and they used to get so stressed out sometimes if I said, listen, today's a no screen day, and that was back in 2012, like not even nowadays, right? They used to really stress out because they knew that once a day they get this chance to spin this wheel. If they spin the wheel, they get this particular reward. And again, it's difficult. Once you've spun the wheel, you then take your item. Once you've got your item, you need to go and put it in your den. You might need to rearrange your den to fit that item up. So again, they reel you back into the game by having this thing that it resets every single day. So there's all of these things that we are kind of, I would say, you're kind of fighting against them, but in a way it's easier for you not to fight as much, but to kind of allow it in a way that it's still acceptable to you. So like Iram said, put those boundaries in, put the timers on, give it to them as a privilege rather than a right. So you can make them earn it. Okay, so one of the ideas that I've got is you can actually write down, you could have a list of these, but one of the ways that I've seen it done online is, those popsicle sticks or lollipop sticks. So in England, they're called lollipops, and in America, you call them popsicles. So they're the little wooden sticks that you get with the ice lollies. And you can write on there, if they emptied the dishwasher, they get 10 minutes of screen time. If they loaded it, they get 10 minutes. If they cleaned the living room, they get 10 minutes. And that way, by helping you do your chores, they can earn some time to go on the screens. So then that will be like more of a reward rather than, here you go, it's a free for all. So when they've got a limited time, they tend to make more use of that time. So that might help, inshallah. Another way that you could do it is if you know that they need help in reading or writing or maths or something like that. So if they spend 30 minutes on their maths, and then they get 30 minutes of screen time. Or you might even do 30 minutes of maths and 15 minutes of screen time. It's entirely up to you how you want to make that work, inshallah. And one of the best ways that I found that I can make screen time work for me and our goals as a family, because my kids, mashallah, they have to read at least, so they read 3 pages of Quran a day, and one of them they have to memorize it. So they memorize 1 page, but they read 3 pages 25 times each. That's the way that, inshallah, they're doing their hifz. So with that page of Quran that they need to keep on revising and going over, if they've got that in the background and they're playing their game, I let them play, because in my mind, I feel like, and I don't know if any of you feel like that as well, but I'm an auditory learner. So I need to hear something for me to memorize it or remember it or learn it. If someone's told me something, it's easier for me to remember it. So in the same way, if they're listening to their Quran, I'm kind of like, look, you know, it's a win-win, because they're doing that thing that they want to do, and also they're getting their memorization done, which is another super important task for them to do. What do you think, Sister Iram? Would you allow that with your kids?
Yes, alhamdulillah. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, those are very good valid points, and they work, alhamdulillah. And it also, like, because you have that communication and you've told them this is what it is and this is how it is, and the home environment is not volatile. The home environment is not like one parent is just going to go off any minute and just to escape that the parent is giving the internet. Like I said, there are factors why children are hooked onto internet and why they really don't want to get off of it. So I was looking at alhamdulillah, those are, I mean, valid points, and I think it's a general blanket in every household. Online the online appropriate activities, and how I would like to come down to the next part of it. Like, if you have teens and if they're into game, the boys are always into gaming, the girls are into social media. There's this website called gabwireless.com, GABBWIRLESS.com, gabwireless.com. That is good for children who are between 8 to 13, and you want to give them and you want to give them phones, but you don't want internet on their phones. So gabwireless.com is a good one because it does not have internet, but it connects the children with you. And so you know, it's the phone is sleek and smart, and it looks good, and the child cannot feel like, oh my god, I have a freaking flip phone when everybody else has an iPhone. Right? So that's good. That's one of the things that you can do, because children, I mean, I've seen that we're homeschoolers, but when the children do go out, or they have they're being peer pressured into having phones, then search for the kinds of phones that are safe. Search for the kinds of phones that are safe. I always am very big on, because I have faced this in with my kids. That's why, as a homeschooler, you do understand that we do a lot of online activity. Even before the pandemic, we were either going out on trips and learning out in the nature and environment and libraries and museums, or we were online having classes, right? So I saw this, that when the children are using the internet, they enter their age for certain games or for certain apps, right? Once they enter their age, what happens is, now the internet has, I mean, I do not have to explain how the internet works. We all know is it has cookies, it has people who are searching and targeting for certain age groups. I will tell you this in simple words. My sons got peer pressured into, like, oh my god, my friends, everybody has Instagram, so I want Instagram. And Instagram is usually a girl's thing, right? It's not even a guy's thing. But he got it, and of course I had the password and everything, and I was monitoring it. After a few days, what I see is, hi, my son's name, and I am here to chat with you, and that's and you know, sexy this, blah 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 blah, and it's an 18-year-old girl. And of course, those are bots. Those are not real human beings. Those are bots that are sent by the pornography world, by these porn websites. They target specifically between age 12 to age whatever, and that's the time that the kids get hooked, both boys and girls. I want to say to you this, that pornography addiction does not differentiate between boys and girls. It does not differentiate between gender. It is for everybody to get hooked on. So my most you know, like what is it called, when you are most concerned with something, like the absolute concern, where I feel like sometimes I fear so much that I have to calm myself down. That kind of thing is pornography. It's pornography, because the age today is that everybody has a device in their hand, and it does not matter, you have a 5-year-old kid, and it does not matter how you have a 15-year-old or you have a 25-year-old, or you have a 35-year-old, or you have a 55-year-old, or a 75-year-old. This is being targeted to humans. Like we are being, and it sounds as if, you know, these people are aliens, but they're also human beings, and there's a whole science behind it. And the science is that to make humanity fall to just their carnal desires. That's it. What we have to remember is we as Muslims, and even Christians, and even Jews, and even people who have morals and who have ethics, if they do not believe in the religion, they still have moral and ethics. And you will see everybody talking about this, that the whole idea is that the humans just don't think beyond their carnal desires. And that is why social media, specifically TikTok, specifically Snapchat, specifically Instagram, is absolutely poison for our kids. How do we make them stay away from it? The sad part is we cannot. I have a child. I have a client. She's 15. She has her phone. Her mom has absolutely no clue that she has Instagram. She just hides it so well from her mother. Now I know she's my client. Her mother is paying her my fee, but I'm not going to tell her mom, your kid has Instagram. What I can do is I can coach the kid slowly and gradually to understand and why does she have it? Because her friends have it, because her friends update posts on it. She doesn't post on it because she knows eventually somebody will see her online, specifically from her parents or cousins, and they will tell the parent that, oh, your daughter is online. But she has this whole secret life where she's online and she's seeing everything and she's being inspired. And the mom, you know, and it's amazing. The mom has no clue why the kid is so much into branding. Like Sara, it's so funny. She's like, every new chic thing she must have. It's an absolute that she must have that. And the mom is so confused. Like, I have given her such a humble life. I don't understand where this is coming from. Hello, it's coming from the Instagram, but she does not know that her kid has Instagram. So we under these, and this is something that I want to say, that this does not happen in the other house. It happens in our own houses too. We need to normalize this. We need to understand that this happens. Peer pressure happens. Social media pressure happens. Our kids are hooked online, not just on gaming. The boys are into gaming. The girls are into social media. You have a whole entire study of how it's bad for the brain and how it's bad for their moral health and spiritual health and all of that. And kids are leaving deen because of it. I'm not here to scare anybody. I'm saying all of this is normal now. This is the condition where we cannot be firefighters anymore. We have to basically install our houses safely so that they do not catch fire. At the end of the day, everybody has internet. You all have information. You all can Google anything that you want to Google, and you all can get you all can get whatever you need to get to understand where we want to be as a family at the end of the day.
I think you're right, Iram. We need to be more proactive rather than reactive. And I know that, I guess, I don't know, I feel like even the fact that boys were more into gaming, I have seen as my girls have got older, there are more boys online, I have to say, that are not that much into gaming. And I've seen sometimes some disgusting things with my own daughters, okay? And that's not, they've got private accounts. They, you know, the only people that they've made friends with are people that we know. But for example, one of them was the cousin of one of my daughter's friends. So because he was her cousin, he's got the friend on his Instagram, and then my daughter's name must have come up as suggested. And then he started to message my kid, right? And again, if we're not on there, if we're not understanding that this happens, and it doesn't just happen, you know, to other people, like Iram said, it happens to you, your own house, your kids, your own children that you trust, that you think my daughter wouldn't do that, my son wouldn't do that. Listen, guys, honestly, we've got to keep an eye on all of them. And again, we're not here to scare you. We're not here to, you know, watch out. The whole world is full of danger. It is full of danger. We already know that, yeah? But you have to keep like an additional eye. And I smiled when Sister Iram said about the girl who's got the secret Instagram account. Now, there's so many of them. There's so many girls and boys that have got a normal Instagram account with their normal cousins, aunties, uncles, and everyone following each other. And then they've got a spam account. A lot of the time they call it a spam account. A lot of the time they say their name and then they put like, I don't know, like different letters at the end of it to kind of differentiate it from a different account that they might have. You can always see how many Instagram accounts are active on the phone or the device. If you just click the name of the Instagram account, and then at the bottom, you can see the 2 or 3 different ones that they have. Now, again, like I've said to you earlier, with my daughters, I have had to be strict on the Instagram. And again, I don't feel like it's because of my own child, but if I'm that parent that needs to look after them and protect them, and, you know, I guess, like, you know, I can't see myself giving them that free rein, but because they, you know, kids, they have somehow sometimes got extra access to something that I might not know about, and it takes me a couple of days to catch up, and they hate it. They really, really hate it. They tell me, Mum, what's wrong with you? Why can't you be like other mums? You know, they don't care. They don't go snooping around on their kids' phones. And I'm like, listen, you know, everyone knows I'm not like another mum, right? So in that event, I really have to say again, like without a doubt, some sisters are asking in the chat, you know, about the age that you should, who was it? Sister Anjum, yeah. What age is it best to give a child a mobile phone? And her eldest is 12 years old and she wants a phone, but I let her use the mobile to chat on WhatsApp. But my husband says she's walking home from school and she needs her own mobile phone. So I get it. In that situation, you want the phone for her safety, but only you know, Sister Anjum, whether your 12-year-old is ready for that, right? Again, one of my daughters would see random things and she will block and delete immediately. One of my daughters will be like, "Oh, what's that about? Let me have a look first." It doesn't mean that she's into it or she wants to, you know, get involved in that dark side of life, but there's a curiosity there. There's a thing about, oh, let me find out, right? So I don't know about you guys, but if you've got Facebook accounts, sometimes we've talked about it as online entrepreneurs. We always get messages from these guys and they're like, "Hi, would you like to chat?" You know, and you just, as soon as I see it, I just block, delete, get rid of it. Yeah. But kids might not do that. Kids will be like, "Well, let me just find out. It's no harm. There's no harm in it." You know, there's no harm in finding out what they want to talk about, right? But obviously we do know that there is a harm in it and we have to be super vigilant, super aware, you know, and it's stressful sometimes. Your anxiety can go through the roof. If you don't control it, it can affect your mental health as well. I have, you know, like I said, when I started this whole topic, I said to Sister Iram, you better take the lead on this one, because sometimes I feel like I've failed with screen time. Like I feel like, alhamdulillah, with my other ways of parenting, I've been okay. But with this screen time, it's been such a palaver, such a hassle sometimes that I've just, you know, I've thought I've bought a safe to put all the devices in at the end of the day. I've, like I said to you, we turned the Wi-Fi off. We've done the password thing, but that's just too stressful to keep a hold of. And I end up keep forgetting the passwords, to be honest with you, especially if I'm angry and I've had to change a password, and then I just forget about it. And then it takes me ages to reset the passwords, right? As I'm talking to you guys, you can see my little one keep coming back to me to put the password back in for her because she's playing a game. I let them play, right? But I am super hyper aware of what they're doing, where they are, where they're going, who they're seeing. And I have to be, not because of my child. I feel like, alhamdulillah, I have taught them enough to trust them. But at the end of the day, I have to No, I'm not putting YouTube. I told you, see. She's asking me to go on YouTube, and I've deleted the YouTube app. She's not allowed to go on it. So now she's telling me to type it, and she's getting upset. So in the same way, I want you guys to understand that it's a very difficult situation that we're in, but keeping a handle on it all makes you even more stressed out. So as Iram said, me and her are what you would probably call chilled out, hippie style attachment parents, co-sleepers, and all the rest of it. So we would be the most chilled out of everyone on things like the internet. But even us have to keep an eye on, you know, who's able to contact them, who's got access to them. Like we said earlier, they have private accounts. So I'm doing my best to keep that account private. But then if they're friends with someone who's friends with somebody else who might be, you know, their parents might not be watching as carefully as I am. Their parents might not know how many friends they have. So then in the same way, their kids have access to us. Snapchat, I completely banned. They're not allowed to go on Snapchat at all. They used to tell me, oh, but, you know, mum, everyone's got these filters and blah, blah, blah. Well, Instagram's got the filters now. Facebook's got the filters. Even Zoom's got filters, right? So in the same way, we need to just keep giving them alternatives that they can use that would be a little bit, I say a little bit safer than the other ones. And yes, we do have to keep an eye on it. And there's no such thing as a child knows how to stay off the internet. Just like, I'm sure you guys have seen those programs, the parenting ones that they have every so often on the BBC, where they give they put the child in a sweet shop. It's full of candy, it's full of sweets. They put the child there, they're about 5 or 6 years old, and they say to them, you're not allowed to take any sweets. Can you just wait here? I'm going to go to the back. And they leave the child in the sweet shop, and then they see what the child is going to do, right? 9 out of 10 kids take a sweet, and then when the person comes out, they say to them, did you take a sweet? And they all say no, right? Even at that age, they say no. So being on the internet with that free reign is like them being in a candy store and there's no one to watch what they're doing, right? And unfortunately, you know, we have to be the ones watching, being careful, keeping an eye on them. And like I said to you, I find it super difficult, especially now. I've told you guys, my daughter's 18. I want to trust her. I know that she herself, I feel like I can trust, but I keep telling her, I don't trust the people around you. I don't, you know, oh, our mum, this friend Khadija, she's really good, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll see, you know, a post by Khadija and I'll be like, you know, Miriam, she, you know, that's not really what we, you know, do or think or whatever. And again, it's like the kids are decent, the parents might even be decent, but the situation that they're in sometimes turn them to do non-decent stuff. And again, like we said, we don't want to scare you. We don't want you to be like super hyper aware. I feel like sometimes I've been through like my brain's been through a washing machine or something, with the kind of things that I've had to deal with in terms of screen time. And on the other side of it, there's always my child saying, everyone else can do it, why can't I? But everyone else can do it, but you're the worst mum in the world, you're the worst dad in the world, you're the strictest parents in the world, right? And again, like Iram said, we're really not the strictest parents at all. And we try to really give them all these other opportunities. They go out, they go to water parks, they go to theme parks, they go swimming, they go horse riding. There's so many things that we've tried to do to try to wean them off this thing about screen time. But unfortunately, sometimes, some days, when you're tired, when you're busy, there'll be a time where they might get into some trouble. And again, this is where that unconditional love comes in. I don't know if you guys caught the radio show that we did on Monday, but we were talking about the unconditional love and the fact that our children will make mistakes. It They will do it. It's, it's a given. We're adults. We've made mistakes. If you look back at your childhood, how many mistakes you've made. So with your children, they are going to make mistakes. We have to understand that by nature, they're not bad, right? They don't mean to do that. It's just they're in a particular situation, and we have to keep showing them the love, the compassion, the mercy that we want from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we end up over there, inshallah. I'm sorry, I just kind of stood on my soapbox there. Apologies. Iram, do you want to carry on?
And Jazakallah khair. Please do not apologize. Alhamdulillah, I think it was well grounded, because at the end of the day, we said that we are humans, we understand, we have suffered, we have learned, and it's a learning process. And I'll come back to the first thing that I basically say. The devices have changed, the vices have changed, but the problems are again the same. Connectivity, communication, and I must say this, as parents, just because we have children doesn't mean that we automatically become wise and we automatically have changed our habits and we automatically know what our triggers are. No, we don't know, and that's why we are learning, and that's why all of us are in the same boat of knowing how to handle things in a way that will be helpful for our children, for their upbringing. If a parent does not know how to, because when Sara was saying that you have to know the handle to it, you have to know how to handle it, I was thinking of a mother who, as a woman, is more susceptible to having cognitive distortion, where she's continuously thinking, oh no, the child is going to do bad. I know the child is going to do bad because the child has a tendency to do bad. The child is going to do it. The poor child is not even doing anything, but you're so scared that you push the child by aggravating them, by asking them, by questioning them, by not believing them. And Sara said this, like, I think 5 times or more. She said, you have to be able to trust your child, regardless of the age, regardless even you've seen something, because we as mothers know. So we see things and we know, and still our child absolutely clearly, like daylight, denies it, says, no, that did not happen. And we have to take a step back. One of the best parenting techniques is from the Sunnah. Prophet ﷺ, he knew what the people were doing. He would know, and still he would not say, I know you did this and you better stop doing this. He would just generalize in stories and generalize through hadith and generalize, like, general advice while cooking. One of the things that I have learned is when you want your children to trust you and not be scared of you, because honestly, our children are scared of us. They are very scared of us. They are scared that we will judge them. And even sometimes now, mashallah, these words are like, what do you say? They're like air. We're not even doing it, but our children just throw it. No, you judge me. I know you judge me. No, beta, I'm not judging you. I'm just asking you. No, beta, I'm just talking to you. No, mama, you are judging me. Okay, fine. This is not, you don't have empathy for me. I mean, kids have these buzzwords, right? Sometimes those buzzwords are correct. Sometimes they're just throwing it just to, what is it called? Emotionally blackmail us, honestly. So you hold your ground. At the end of the day, you remember this. Even if you know in your heart that you do not know how to handle the situation, we pretend we know how to handle the situation. And the best way to pretend how to handle the situation is by taking a step off, by observing. Observation. Okay? Then the number 2 step is your cognitive ability to think through, process through. There is absolutely no human being in the world, like Sara was saying, that her wine has gone through washing machine. Yes, that's such a good example. Like, really, like, our mind goes through, like, I don't know what speed of thinking how bad a situation is going to become. I have seen parents whose kids were not at the point where the situation was out of hands, but because of their constant nagging and constant thinking that, oh my God, something is bad is going to happen, they actually push the child towards the bad. The child was not in that space, but they pushed their own kid in that space. So you need to have a relationship of calm and trust, and you need to know the technique of backing off, and you need to know how to handle the situation without being up in the face and then just pointing at your kid and saying, I know you did this. Even if you know, you don't say that on their face. You have the sunnah to understand how to be more tactic. What is it called?
Tactful.
Yes, yes. To be able to handle the situation. I have mothers who say we cannot talk to the dads. The dad is absolutely not helpful in this situation. They're just going to go off on the kids. Listen, the dad and I, we brought the kid together in this world. Okay, fine. We have a rubbish relationship. The marriage is bakwas. Okay, fine. Or the marriage is not that bad, but the communication in the marriage is bad. Well, okay, fine. Or because and that's why I said in the beginning, we all come with our own baggages. We all come with our own baggages. But at the end of the day, the husband and the wife, they have to sit down and they have to say, listen, our baggage is our baggage. It's not our child's baggage. Until we deal with our baggage and deal how to communicate with our child calmly, consistently, and with compassion and with unconditional love, there is absolutely zero way that this child is going to be able to survive the stresses that this world is going to give them. We cannot save our children. There is no khushfahmi. What is khushfahmi called in English? There is no subtlety in saying this from my side. I cannot save my children. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can protect them. But I can be a good leader, a good guide, a good communicator, a compassionate parent towards my children. Those are my jobs to do. I know we're still talking about safe tech, but listen, all of this that we are saying is an absolute must before things get out of hand.
Absolutely.
I'm good.
I really agree with that. So in terms of, again, like just saying what age would be best, just to repeat that it's entirely up to you. And Sister Anjum does like the Gab Wireless. And I wanted to say, actually, there's also another company and they sell it on eBay in the UK. I'm not sure if Gab Wireless ship to UK. If they do, that's fine. But if not, there's another company that does something similar on eBay. There was another question here that I need to go back to, forgotten where it is. Okay, so when they're watching content, when they're on the screen, so there's an 11-year-old, she opens a guest account, so there's no history of what videos she's watched, and when anyone approaches near her, she quickly presses the shortcut key and the window that she's watching is closed and her homework is displayed. Do you want to answer that one, Iram?
Welcome to the reality of our lives.
Because you were just talking about staying calm, and I was like, you know what, actually, I'm not going to stay calm in this one. So with me, I don't stay calm in that situation because you know their hand went to their laptop. You know that whatever their phone, they press the key, right? So at that point, there's no worries, Sister Taslim. You can come back, inshallah. Yes, Sister Sabri said there's recordings available. Don't worry, no problem. Okay, so in terms of the child that is blatantly in front of you doing this, right? Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes I get really annoyed at them and I say, what is there to hide? What are you actually hiding from me that you have to do that? So they know that if their hand goes anywhere near the keyboard when I'm coming to check what they're doing, they know without a doubt that I'm going to go off on one. So they actually don't do it. So if, for example, and I have had them, they are on, watching something, I guess, things like Riverdale. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Have you, Iram, do you know that one?
Is it a
Riverdale. So it's
show?
like a show, yeah, like a teenage program, and it's about it's basically about like a murder mystery, but then there's a lot of inappropriate content in there. They watched Pretty Little Liars and they watched 13 Reasons Why, right? Again, it all did have inappropriate content, but when I realized what they were doing, I said, listen, I don't mind if you watch it, but you have to watch it with me, right? Because again, we can then talk through the emotions that the characters are feeling, questions that our kids might have, you know. And I remember, I don't want to do spoiler alert. I don't know if anyone's not seen 13 Reasons Why, but like,
That I think everybody has by now.
but you know, right towards the end when she's walking out of that door and it's raining outside and it's dark outside, and then the mum's like, where are you going? And she goes, I'm just going for a walk, right? And you think like, why? You're just screaming at the mother, like, why are you letting her go out right now? You can clearly see she's like, you can see she's upset about something, right? So in that way, I personally, I wouldn't say, you know, don't go for a walk. I'd say I'm coming with you, right? And that's the kind of difference that I would say in the parenting that we are trying to pass on to you guys, inshallah, is that it is difficult. It's real life. It's not, you know, something that you see on Pinterest and you see on Instagram as these perfect lives. Yeah. Okay. There are things that our children are dealing with. They might hear about it at school. They might hear about it from their friends, you know, even the ones that don't go to school. Like I said, my daughter, she'll learn about it from her cousins or from Instagram. So in this way, we still need to be on top of all the different things that are going on, and inshallah give them time to you know, go through these, maybe even talk about it with them, have open discussions, you know, yourself, your husband, your kids. Like when we're at the dinner table, you know, there's no screens, there's just us talking, and we do random things, you know, just to give you a couple of ideas. So one time Aisha opened a bottle of Coke and we won a free can. I don't know, there was like a contest or something, and we won a free can of Coke. So she was like, oh, it's my Coke because I opened the bottle. And then I was like, hang on a minute, I had the idea that we were going to go buy Coke, so that's my can, I won it, you know. And then my husband was like, hang on, who paid the money, who drove the car? So we all had this big huge discussion, and even now we sometimes talk about it because it just went on for about, I think, a whole day and a half or something. But they kept giving reasons as to why they won that Coke. And again, it's something really random, but it helps you to you know, get that frame of mind for your children. Yeah. So to start thinking about not even if your children go to school, the homeschooling mindset is that we're always learning together. So even if your kids go to school, when they're at home, you can still continue that learning process. You can still have discussions with them, still talk to them, still have conversations with them, and keep those channels open. When those channels close, that's when you've got problems. Alhamdulillah, you know, if the channels are open, regardless of what you're hearing from them, like Sister Iram said, sometimes you really have to bite your lips. Sometimes you really have to go like, oh my God, why are they doing this? You know, like things like homosexuality and people that are asexual and transsexuals and all of these things that are coming out now, you know, we have to keep those channels open, inshallah, so that the kids can really understand that we are on their side, that we are there for them, that if they have those questions, we can, inshallah, help them, guide them through it. I'm not saying we've got the answers, but we can help them navigate these issues. Yeah, inshallah. And that's fantastic, Sister Adila. Yeah, as Sister Iram said, yeah, it's true. If we watch inappropriate things, then they think it's okay to watch them as well. So that's absolutely true as well. A couple of the things that are still in my list to watch on Netflix, I just can't watch them with the kids around, right? Okay, but I do want to watch them because my friends are watching them. I've got peer pressure, right?
Alhamdulillah, I don't do peer pressure, so alhamdulillah.
I
If
do.
anything, I pressure people.
I just want to know what they're watching.
Yeah. No, alhamdulillah. خلاص, Jazakallah khair, everybody. I think our points were something that you all have thought about, and inshallah ta'ala will continue. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and protect our children, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us raise our children in the way that is best for their dunya and akhirah. I mean, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the hikmah, the wisdom to understand how to guide ourselves, our nafs, and our children in the best way possible. I mean, Jazakallah khair, everybody, for tuning in. Inshallah. For me, it's a wrap.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, I think I'm done as well. Jazakallah khair, thank you all for listening, and please don't worry, all the recordings are available. Sister Sabri's put them online. As we've said before, if you don't already follow us on Parenting with Alabama side, please do follow us, inshallah. And we do have quite a few things coming up for you after Ramadan. Me and Iram were supposed to have Ramadan off, weren't we, Iram?
Yes.
Ended up working anyway, subhanallah. Assalamu alaikum and jazakallah khair for listening.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you to Sister Sara and Sister Iram for being here today with us. I hope you enjoyed today's session. And don't forget, today we have a kids session at 6 p.m. UK time. And the session with Sister Reba is on Tuesday, same time for all mom session. And we look forward to seeing you there, inshallah. Thank you, everyone.